forward. All right, so I just really want to thank you all for being here tonight. As you know, many of you, I've been using the essential oils, Young Living essential oils for, I would say, about 20 years. And tonight, it's interesting, I'm using my Peace and Calming. I have it in my diffuser, and I'm really using it because I've always kind of been a nervous kid. My mother said that she believes it was because when I was born, the baby next to me cried a lot. And so I was always kind of nervous. I had high anxiety, and I really had a lot of trouble sleeping. But I would say that my worst time with sleep was after I had watched a horror movie, and the doctors ended up having to put me on Valium. They tried first to give me sleeping pills, and I would walk the pills off. I'd be so nervous. So I was on Valium for several years, and it wasn't until a natural nutrition diet doctor introduced me to some nutritional supplements that could replace the Valium. But then the FDA came in and pulled those from the market. And there was this real fight about nutrition and health. And so I have struggled on and off and on and off. And then a friend came to me and introduced the essential oils. And she was really trying to help me with my respiratory issues. But she introduced me to Peace and Calming. And when I rubbed it on my feet, it really helped me to relax, and it really helped me to sleep. And later I learned to use it in the diffuser, and it's still probably one of my favorite when it comes to anxiety and restfulness. And so we're going to learn about some of the awesome oils that help enhance sleep and help us to relax. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So first, I want you to know that tonight I'm going to be giving away a bottle of 15 milliliter Peace and Calming to someone that's on the call. So you have to be on the call towards the end of the call, but we will do a drawing, and I'll announce it tomorrow in doing that. But this class is a little fast paced, so I would say you might want to get paper and pencil, something to take notes with. Get your favorite oil out, because I'm going to give you some quick tips that's going to help you maximize your oils during stressful times. Or it will also kind of allow you to kind of soothe the stress of your daily life, so you're not always operating under high stress conditions. I'm also going to share some ways that you could put these things on your subscription that will help you to make sure that you always have them available for you. We used to talk about having a medicine cabinet, but now we want to talk about having a wellness cabinet so you can stay above the wellness line. We don't want to wait till we're sick before we start to do things. And we want to really take charge of our health and be proactive. And then I have some super exciting announcements at the end. So I encourage you to stay on, because there's some super ways to be able to save money. And as I mentioned earlier, corporate has just announced a new promo that I think we'll all want to take advantage of. But before we get started, can you just quickly say who invited you? And I think, did anybody have someone on that was invited that didn't get the email or the text? Yeah, you can just kind of raise your hand if the email or the text worked for you, because we're trying some new ways of bringing people in. So I hope that works well going there. Great. Okay, I must make this disclaimer. My class is not intended to replace the advice of your healthcare provider or to diagnose, treat, or prevent or cure any disease. Remember, I'm an educator. That's where my heart is. And this information is for educational purposes only. We really want you to take time and learn to be an advocate for your health, to understand how it works, and to have the education and the resources so you can make the decisions that your body needs. Before we get started, let's just pause a moment. If you have a favorite oil with you, Young Living oil, I would ask you to do this deep breathing with me. If not, one of the keys of self-care is just really learning to breathe, slow down, and oxygenate your body. We get going so fast, we forget to do this on a regular basis. The essential oils enhance that, but you could just do the deep breathing at any point and you feel yourself tensing, you feel your head to start to ache. You can always kind of tell if your shoulders go up, if your face kind of furrows. then you know you're tensing up, and just learning to tell yourself to breathe. And so please, right now, I would just like everyone, close your eyes, take a deep breath in, hold it 4 counts, and let it out. 4 counts. Breathe in 1 time, 4 counts, and let it out, 4 counts. 1 more time. Breathe it in 4 counts, and let it out, 4 counts. 1 more. Breathe it in 4 counts. Let it out, 4 counts. And even as you do that, you begin to allow your body to settle and to balance. And we're going to talk about some other things that you could do that with that are so helpful. But first of all, I really want to let you know that the quality of the essential oils that you use are important. Not all essential oils are created equal. And how do we know what to choose? Honestly, I know that these oils have changed my life when I was first introduced to them. But 20 years ago, I didn't understand the difference. And I can tell you, I wasted a lot of money. I tried to save money because I didn't realize that the oils were not created equal. And so, of course, when I was introduced to them, it was like, she's like, you have to buy them from this company. And I was like, I'm not doing all that. I'm just going down to Kmart. Kmart was around at that time, and I'm going to buy my oils. Today, there's even more confusion around the essential oils. There's essential oil companies popping up like crazy because it's kind of a craze now. And it's really important that you understand what you're getting in that bottle, or you'll be disappointed or even harm yourself. So first of all, learn to read the labels that are on the bottles. However, it's also important to know that there's things that are not on that label that are in the bottle. For example, the FDA says that if there's 5% of a pure natural oil in the bottle, it can be labeled as pure and natural, regardless of what else is in that bottle. So for me, it comes down to something that we like to call seed to seal. That's what Young Living has. And they're the only company that has this. It is their commitment to quality that no one else has. And that means that they control the entire process from the seed to the sealed bottle. You can rest assured that you're getting a quality product made from the highest quality essential oils and other naturally derived ingredients. They have the strictest guidelines that they follow. And in fact, others in the industry use their guidelines. Think about this. All of their plant material is grown on corporate-owned farms or partner farms that they carefully vet. And you can visit the farms, you can see it. They use the sustainable farming and sourcing practices, and they provide the purest oil. They take care to preserve and protect the natural resources. So when they go in and they harvest, they plant back, especially with trees. They hand weed their fields, and there's zero use of pesticides or insecticides. This is so important. The oils retain their natural constituents and their therapeutic properties because the way that they distill their oils is state of the art, and they design their distillers so that they get the maximum amount of constituents from each of the oils. They know whether, how low the pressure needs to be, how low the temperature needs to be. They don't add solvents or synthetic chemicals that will make it easier for them to extract the oils quickly. And they use a very rigorous testing for each batch of oils. Their oils go through about 30 different tests in-house, and they also use third-party facilities. And then their oils are carefully reviewed at every step. And the thing that I like about them, and I've talked to I heard from the director of sourcing, if an oil doesn't meet their standards, they reject it, no matter how much that cost. And it usually ends up being sold to another company who doesn't have this high standard. So we're talking about using a quality that's going to help our body. That is really important to me. Just think about that. What do you like best about that seed to seal process. Anybody want to comment there?
I like the fact that if it's not right, they don't use it at all. So we have that reassurance that we have the best quality and that it's good for our bodies.
Yeah. And once you kind of visit the farms and see it, it's just kind of amazing. It really is. Well, let's talk just a little bit about uses and safety, because this is important through as well. Throughout the class, I'm going to make some suggestions of oils and products that you can use every day that will support your wellness, that really will help you with your personal self-care. But there's some specifics I want to make sure that we all agree on and we're clear on. We already talked about all the oils are not created equal if they're not Young Living oils. And so you want to read the label. But you can use the oils topically. And that means that as you saw me earlier, you can apply them. You use a drop, and there's a special orifice on here that allows them to come out a drop at a time. This bottle might have 250 to 300 drops in it, but you can kind of rub it, and you can put it on your wrist, on your neck, on your back. Rubbing it on your feet allows it to move all the way through your bloodstream, all the way up to the brain in about 20 minutes. What you don't want to do is put the oils in your ears or in your eyes directly. Okay, if that happens, don't rinse with water. Remember, oil and water don't mix. Instead, use a fatty carrier oil around that area. So a carrier oil like coconut oil, olive oil, grapeseed oil, sweet almond oil, any of those oils, use that around the area if you happen to get it in your eyes or something like that. Another thing to keep in mind is some oils are really gentle. As you saw me, and you can put it directly on your skin, but other oils are pretty hot and your skin may get a little red. If that happens, you want to throw a little carrier oil on there. Again, a grapeseed oil, a coconut oil, almond oil, and that will just soothe it. If you're using it for kids or for elderly people, I would start out with just a small amount, dilute it at first. It's real simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Aromatically is another really great way for oils. And all you have to do sometimes is just open that bottle, do that deep breathing, and just watch what happens. It can be that simple, okay? Or you can put a drop on your palm, rub your hands together, and then we do the scent tent. Just hold your hands as a tent like this. Breathe in deeply, just as we did at the beginning. Do 10 deep breaths. You'd be amazed how much that calms the body. Many times people have taken their blood pressure before, done the scent tent, 10 to 20 deep breaths, and they've been amazed at what has happened when they take it later. But you can also use the Young Living oils internally. This is where it's important to know the label. Young Living has a vitality oil, and you can place the vitality oil into a vegetable capsule. And I have a bottle here, if you can see that. Or you could put it one drop into your tea, a drop into water. You can even cook with it. I have one friend, and she uses all the vitality oil. She's a cook, she's a chef. She uses the vitality oils for cooking because she doesn't have to keep preserving the herbs. She said, I have to worry about rosemary if I get fresh rosemary or peppermint, but she can just use a very small amount, very tiny amount of the peppermint or the rosemary or the thyme for her cooking. And it's amazing how wonderful the food tastes, and how convenient it is. And she's getting the power of these particular oils as she's doing it. Keep in mind that the citrus oils will break down petrochemicals, which is what we want them to do because they protect our body. But petrochemicals are plastic. So you always want to use a stainless steel, glass, or ceramic when you're adding oils to your dishes or to your drinks. Before we go any further, I want to make sure that you understand what the labels are. So the vitality oils will have the white label. The regular oils will have the solid color label. The oil inside is exactly the same. The reason for having the special labels is, one, the FDA requires that we make it real clear so people know what they can use internally, and it just makes it really easy for you to know. But the oil inside the two are exactly one way. Would anybody like to share? I could pause here a minute and tell me, one way that you've used the essential oils in the past.
I'll go, Dr. Brown. This is Jesse. I was a late comer with the essential oils, but once I got started, I learned real quick about 3 oils, and I still love the 3 of them to this day. And that's my thieves, my lavender, and my peppermint. I use thieves every day, and I can tell you that the thieves that I use every day, once I run out of one bottle, it's never the same taste that I get the next time I open my next bottle. So, but I get this almost the same effect by using it every day. I can say the same thing about the peppermint. Now the lavender, I use it as my deodorant, and it's pretty consistent, not my deodorant, my cologne, because it has that real nice smell. But anyways, those 3 oils have gotten me to where I am right now in terms of how I feel about the essential oils and Young Living. Real quick story about my Nisha Red.
But we're going to talk about that later. Hold that one, okay? Because
right.
we're going to talk about that when we get to the nutrition.
Okay.
Oh, I like that. But I think you did bring up a good point, because the oils are sourced from plants. Every harvest of plants is different because the weather's different at the time, the soil's different at the time. So there are going to be some variants, and that's wonderful, because those little yucky things that attack our body cannot become immune to them as they do with synthetic type things. And so that's a good thing about the oils as well, going there. So, okay, let's get started. We're going to start out with those things that are most important in terms of your personal self-care. And we're going to begin with good sleep, because while you're sleeping, so many things are happening. Your body's resetting, your body's healing, your body's trying to restore. And so really the sleep is where we want to start. We're going to talk about nutrition and exercise, and those are important, but sleep is not getting the attention that it really deserves to have. At one point, they had us telling people that whatever your norm was for sleep, that was okay. So if someone said, I only get 3-4 hours of sleep, that's fine. Now we know that's not true. The body needs at least that 7 to 8 hours of real solid sleep. There's a cycle in order for the body to do all that it was designed to do during the nighttime. And so we have really been encouraged to teach people to get quality sleep now. And for many of us, that is very, very difficult to get. It's a struggle. So I encourage you to make it a priority, your sleep a priority. We usually think we can exchange sleep for activity. You're not doing your body any favors by doing that. Sleep is key. So some of the things you can do is begin to start creating a routine. The body was intended to have a cycle. And so create a routine, a certain time that you're going to strive to get to bed every time, so that you can wake up during that 7 or 8 hours. Second, avoid negative talk, avoid negative TV, avoid anything negative, because your body takes that in, and that's what you end up going to sleep with. So that's why you don't, and I think the scriptures talk about, don't let the sun go down on your anger. Okay, there's research that shows why that is true. So you want, before you go to sleep, to fill the mind and your vision with positive things, with good things, because otherwise that disrupts your sleep. And that's why you're doing those relaxing things before you go to bed. You also want to avoid blue light. We have learned that the blue light that often comes from computers, from the TV, causes a disruption in sleep. And people who are watching TV before they go to bed, when they actually put them on the sleep machine type things, they do not get a restful night's sleep, often end up waking up when disruptive. It's not a deep sleep like what they need. One thing that we found that extremely helpful, goes back old school, is doing Epsom salts baths. You can do it as a bath. You can also do it even as a foot soak, but Epsom salt has a magnesium in it that kind of calms the body. So that's just a real simple, easy way. if you add the essential oils to the Epsom salt, don't put the essential oils directly into the water, but put it into the Epsom salt and then put it into your water, then you will find that's another way of allowing the body to relax. We do have bath bombs and we have shower steamers that are for those that don't like, being bothered. They just want to drop a bath bomb into their water. And the good thing is you only have the Epsom salts and the essential oil. You don't have a lot of the extra synthetic things in your bath bombs or your shower steamers. So that's another thing that you could do as well. Some of the oils that we talk about for sleep are some that you've heard a lot about. Lavender, you've heard a lot about it. It's just knowing whether you have a pure lavender or whether you're working with the synthetic lavender is not going to give you the same effect. Stress Away is just what it says. It's a blend. And we don't have time to study all the oils that are in that blend, but copaiba, lime, cedar wood, ocotea, and lavender are synergistically working together to help the body to be at ease. And so Stress Away is very helpful. Frankincense has been used since the ancient days, always helps to relax the body. And then as we talked about, my favorite is that Peace and Calming, because it has tangerine and orange and lang lang, patchouli and blue tansy in it. And all of those work together as well to help relax us. There's some others for those that really are having some difficult times. The oils like valerian and vetiver. Valerian actually was the oil that was used as they made the product of Valium. So remember I talked about having been on that. Valerian has that effect, valerian and vetiver. And then there are some roll-ons that I have used that I have found extremely helpful. Tranquil is one. Rutavala is one. The name itself lets you know that it has lavender, it has ruta, and it has valerian in that roller, and you can just roll it on. I like to roll them on the bottom of my feet at night. And cedarwood is any of the tree oils that come from the trees are going to be very grounding, and that also helps us to kind of settle. So things like your Idaho blue spruce, your Northern Lights black spruce, your balsam fir, your winter nights, which is a blend of those. Any of those are going to be extremely, extremely helpful in helping the body to relax. So if you have one of those, then just, again, either doing the deep breathing before night. I like to rub them on the bottom of my feet. And of course, having them in the diffuser as you relax is going to be one way to really improve your sleep. It takes time because, again, we're talking about the need to create that routine, especially if for years we have not allowed the body to rest the way that it would. But if we're intentional, you'll begin to see your sleep pattern improve. And that sleep is going to help build your immune system. So if you're running on empty for too long, then your immune system is going to be down. And we know that viruses, bacteria, that's what they love is a weakened immune system. So you don't want to give them that opportunity. Let's talk just a little bit about nutrition. You get a good night's sleep, and then your body really needs that proper nutrition because that's what really helps it to operate at an optimal level. You're going to be happier when you have good nutrition. You're going to be happier physically, emotionally. Your body's going to feel good. You're going to have enough energy. You're just going to be able to handle things better, okay, if you have that nutrition. And it's really important because your immune system needs to be strong, especially during this time. And I can't stress enough that 2/3 of your immune system is in the gut. So it is so important that you have a healthy digestion. And later on this year, we're going to do the digestive system as a class, but just keep in mind your nutrition has to support a healthy gut. And you're not going to like this because we're talking about self-care, but the number one thing that you can do to support your system is to avoid processed sugar and white flour. I heard a doctor talk about that this week again. My doctor 20 some years ago told me that, get off of processed white sugar and white flour. And we see it more and more. It is just really hard, I know, for us to think about self-care because we think about comfort foods, right? And there's sugar late. The sugar makes us feel good, but it makes us feel good. It also shuts down your immune system. And research is showing that more and more. So it's important to retrain your taste. And that can be done. Even if it comes down to putting less of sugar in your coffee or your drinks and slowly decreasing what you put in it, and then begin to increase the amount of fruit you have, the amount of vegetables, the amount of clean proteins, the amount of whole grains that you have. You see Ningxia red up here, and Ningxia is a Chinese word. It's a province in China. It's not like the little fighting thing, the Ningxia thing. But this particular drink is really, really high in antioxidants, besides being just really delicious. And that's because of the way it's sourced in the Ningxia province of China. Unlike a sugary drinks and juices that really sabotage your blood sugar levels, this is a puree. It's a food supplement. And you just need 1 or 2 ounces a day. And it just really helps to keep you above the wellness line. It's also really good for eye health, and it's awesome for your immune system. And this is one that people found they just can throw it into their subscription box. They can make sure they have what they need each month. It can come in the large bottles. It can also come in the little packets. I like to always make sure I have a packet with me. And I'm someone that when I get nervous and anxious, I don't eat. And so having the packets with me makes sure that I get the nutrition my body needs, so that I don't pass out and things like that when I'm anxious and stressed out. So it's been really good for me in that way. One of the things you can do to even enhance it is add a drop of one of the vitality oils. So just a drop of lemon in with your Ningxia daily. Of course, all of these citrus vitality oils, they help the digestive system, they support the immune system, they support the respiratory system. If you find that you're having digestive issues, you might want to put a drop of Digest Vitality in it. Or Copaiba is really good because it has very little taste, but it really supports the heart and respiratory and nervous systems. It also really supports the emotional balance as well as the skin. And then, of course, the Thieves Vitality is that blend we talk a lot about. It has a clove, the rosemary, has those immune boosting oils in it, and it kind of reminds you of the Christmas apple pie seasoning taste in using that. And so it has a clove in there as well. And so, you know, adding a drop just really enhances it. There's also some supplements people ask a lot of times about. And one of the things when people ask about having to give up flour or white flour, one of the concerns about people being gluten intolerant is because our modern day processing of and growing of wheat, we've been able to grow food faster. Excuse me, we've been able to grow more of it. But in doing that, then we also have grown it in a way that it doesn't produce the enzymes that people need in order to digest it. And so that's one of the reasons that many of us have trouble with wheat. And so the Icorn products are an ancient wheat that Young Living has. And you can do things like you can use the Icorn pasta, the granola, the cereal, pancake, and waffle mix. It's really, really low in gluten, and it's not processed like those commercial grains. And so there's really a difference, and many people can tolerate it more. I also really encourage people that you need to be taking a digestive enzyme, because our food, the way it's harvested now, do not have the enzymes in it. Ideally, when you ate a carrot, it would have all the enzymes it needed to grow, to digest in your body. But now the way we grow foods, our soil is depleted. We just don't have the enzymes in the food. So you can select an enzyme that works best for you. And they have just, I think, a wonderful product. It was originally designed for kids, but it's a probiotic prebiotic, and it's in a powder kind of form, and it tastes good and it's easy to take. And so people that don't like to do supplements, tablets, or anything like that really like that Kid Sense probiotic. And of course, we have the Life 9. So those are the bacteria in the gut that is so depleted in most people, and you need the probiotics in your gut. You need the enzymes in order for your food to digest. So it's possible to be eating and eating and eating. At one point in my life, I was eating and eating. I was gaining weight, but actually I was nutritionally starved. And that's when I began to learn about how I need to improve my nutrition with the foods that I was eating. It's great now because we have the multi-greens, which is a way to get all the greens that you need, and the nutrients for the greens in capsule form. And then of course the super C, the super B, the super Ds. What's unique, I know you've heard a lot about taking supplements and they just go in and come right out, okay? And they call it, really expensive urine. It's because it's not assimilated in the body. But what Young Living has done is, number one, they start with food as they develop the supplements, and then they add the essential oils so that they're more bioavailable to your body. So your body gets more of the nutrient as it's doing that. Of course, you've heard a lot about having the good oils, and there's the omega Gi's, which gives you your omegas that you need, coenzyme Q10. You've probably heard a lot about that, the D3s. And then there's also the olive essentials. So there's something there to help you support your nutritional needs. And you can look at where you want to start and then be consistent. I always encourage people to be consistent at least 3 months so that you can give the body time to adjust and begin to do some of that repair. Jesse, you want to share your Ningxia story now?
Yes. Back when I was a kid growing up in South Florida, I had orange juice every day for about 65 years of my life, which I developed diabetes from. Not too long ago, within the last 2 years or so, we started using the Ningxia Red. Well, I take the Ningxia Red and I mix it with aloe vera, 99% pure aloe, and my diabetes numbers went from like 12 something 5-6 months ago back down to 6.9 by just doing that Ningxia Red. And I don't do it every day. I do it every other day. And it's also helping me with my bathroom schedule. I was going through periods of time where I would go 2 hours and had to get up, go to the restroom. Now I'm sleeping as much as 4 to 5 hours a night before I have to get up and go to the restroom just by using the product every other day. That's my Ningxia Red strain.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had several people talk about how it has helped to balance their blood sugar. They've found that even though it's so delicious, it's a fruit, and so you would think that it would raise the sugar levels. Let's talk a little bit about the mental and emotional part of self-care. Is so key. We know that your body needs a rest. We know you need to get good nutrition. And we also know that the body just really won't focus well if we're not mentally prepared. But I'm going to back up just a little bit because I want to talk about the fitness piece, okay? Because it's hard for people to believe that getting proper fitness is really a prerequisite to your mental and emotional state, okay? Getting the fitness in will make you feel good. It makes you have energy, even when you don't feel like it. You're able to do more during those stressful days. And it just really keeps your body just in such good shape, okay? But you don't have to go to the gym, okay, in order to get good fitness in. The body was designed to move. And so just learning how to move on a regular basis is so very, very, very important. We know the FDA, not the FDA, the USDA tells us that we need 30 minutes of fitness every day just to maintain our health. And we used to think if you just got 30 minutes one time during the day, that was enough. Now we know because the body needs to be in motion throughout the day, it is so much better if you can get that 30 minutes in 10-minute increments. So what we say is try throughout the day to get up and move, especially during this time we're so sedentary. Okay. But get up and move, get up and walk. Just walk through the house, just walk up and down, just sing, just, play, get in a playful mood for 10 minutes. Okay. Then do what else you're going to do. And then another 10 minutes, do some activity. Do this. Everybody do this with me. Let's just take a big stretch. We've been sitting here long enough that we all take it. So do just a big stretch with me and just, oh, doesn't that feel so good? The body was designed to move. And in doing that, there's several oils that you can use to help. If you're drinking your water, this is a good time to add a drop of lemon vitality to your water, or a drop of the peppermint vitality to your water. Because again, you're getting the immune boosting part of that. The peppermint really helps to add with energy. A lot of people, before they start walking or doing any kind of exercise, they like to apply the peppermint to the joints or the knees, or apply the Panaway. Is just amazing in what it does, because it has a blend of things like peppermint and wintergreen in it. And when you apply that, you warm the muscles as you're moving them. And then, of course, the Raven has several of the eucalyptus oils in it that help with breathing. So just diffusing that is so helpful when we talk about breathing. But the body was designed to move. So just keep that in mind all throughout the day. And then we want to talk about your mental and emotional health. I know I don't need to talk about why this is important, okay? Because there are just so many emotions that are going on now. There's fear, there's uncertainty, there's anxiety, there's grief, there's anger, there's sadness. We have moments of super happiness. We just got through the Super Bowl. We were just all hyped and everything for that. And then there's a real downer for some of us. It's important to name your emotion. You don't want to stuff it. You can't stuff it. If you stuff it, it will come out in other ways and in other problems. A lot of people's heart issues we find are related to emotional issues going on, gut issues as well, fibroids. Many of these have been attached to emotional things that have been going on. So it is really important that you have a regular quiet time for prayer, for meditation, for journaling, yoga, other practices, whatever is important to you, that is something you don't compromise, that you are sure that you're getting that in. And I will challenge people to make sure, even in your prayer time, that you're praying, what I like to say, praying through, because sometimes in prayer time, we get our emotions so high and we don't sit in it until we allow the emotions to come down, and what I call being still and recognizing that God is there and experiencing the peace that we need to have. So it's really important that you do that. And the oils really help. I mean, I think there's a reason why frankincense is used so many times in the scripture, because it just really brings this peaceful space, the space where we calm down. We've already talked about what Stress Away does and how important that is. And you can get that in a roller as well. So I like to always have it with me when you're traveling. I'm finding now that I'm a little more nervous when I'm traveling in the car sometimes. And so I pull out the Stress Away often. Peace and Calming, which we've talked about a lot, is another one that many people really love. And then Valor is one that's often known as liquid courage. So when you're getting nervous, fearful, we use this a lot with our children in school that are having problems. They even have a Kid Sense Kid Power, which is Valor just for the children. And we found with our students that it kind of helps them to just feel more confident, more relaxed, less jittery in doing that. So, any of these would be very helpful and would really enhance that mental and that emotional support. But you definitely want to make sure that you are giving attention to that. We tend to want to just keep going and going and going and going. I'll have to say that probably one of my favorite for my mental and emotional support is joy. Joy has a blend of many of the floral oils and the pure flower, bergamot, the lang lang, geranium, rosewood, lemon, mandarin, has jasmine in it, Roman chamomile, pomarosa, and rose, and it has the highest frequency. So when they're doing research and they look at how rose raises the frequency, and it's a healthier state, people's brain waves and all that are healthier. They're feeling more physically and emotionally happy. And you can just diffuse it. You can put it in diffuser jewelry and wear it like that. For your mental emotional state, many of the things that we've talked about prior have been extremely helpful. We talked about using the tree oils, how wonderful they are. There is a supplement called MindWise that really helps support your brain and your heart health. Just takes a very tiny amount daily, which I have found very helpful in helping me remain alert during this time. And then one of my professor friends loves the blend of clarity in teaching, because she uses that before teaching classes, because it just really helps her to clear her head, and works really well. And you could use it in your diffuser or that way. Just take real quick. Anybody want to share something that's keeping you up at night or just kind of stresses you out, that you're finding that you really want to work on? Pam says in the chat, I love Joy. It's been my perfume now for several years. I get lots of comments on how good I smell. Yeah, I use it as perfume as well. Well, thank you. Well, let me just ask this question, and I want to take a moment just to be kind of real with you as we're wrapping up. Why is this all important? And why should you really care about it? I really learned at when I had my first baby, the doctor, I was putting lotions on the baby's head to slick the hair down. And my doctor told me something, and we see it now. He said, everything you put on the baby's head goes to the baby's brain. And I didn't realize that I was surrounded by so many chemicals and was using these chemicals in so many ways that I was actually sabotaging my health. And in times like this, when it's stressful and we need to really take care of ourselves and take control of our self-care, there are so many things out there that are affecting our health. And we knew, I would say 10 years ago, that people were going to need to make some changes in their lifestyle, or we were going to have something like what's going on now. We knew before this that the number 2 cause of death in the United States was cancer. 1,620 people a day were dying of cancer. 1 in 3 cases in the US is linked to just poor diet, to physical inactivity, to weight, to chemical exposure. We know that. The American Cancer Society says only 5 to 10% of all cancer cases are really genetically affected. This is 5%. That means 95% of what's going on with cancer is something that we can control. It's the things that we allow in our home. And if we're going to take care of ourselves, we're going to have to take control of that. The National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health, they studied 2,983 ingredients that are in our products at home. And they found that 884 of them were toxic. Okay. 314 of them caused biological mutations, and 218 caused reproductive problems. 778 were toxic to the human body. Okay, this is National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health. 146 of them they knew caused cancerous tumors. But these are still allowed in the United States, even though they're banned in some other countries. And many of these chemicals are in our cleaning products. They're in the things that we put on our body. And just 28 seconds of exposure to some of these chemicals are easily measured in the human body. The average woman, this just blew me away. The average woman applies 300 chemicals a day to her body, 80 before breakfast. And those are chemicals that are not helping her system. The top 10 dangerous chemicals in our home, you want to hear them? Air fresheners, plug-ins like candles. I didn't know that. I love candles. I was burning candles like crazy with kids when I discovered that burning candles was just like smoking. So here my kids had asthma, and I thought I was helping until someone pointed that out to me. Second on the list is chemical cleaning supplies, draining oven cleaners, furniture polish, dishwasher liquid, dish soap, your beauty supplies, your personal supplies that you're putting on, hairspray, gel, shampoo. Reading those labels, we know that most deodorant has aluminum in it, and we put it on all the time. Many scientists believe that aluminum exposure is still linked to Alzheimer's. I know there's been some research to counter that, but then they keep going back to it, Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. And one of the top pollutants in the family has to do with the laundry soaps and the fabric softeners and the things we wash our clothes with, okay? And the things that we put on our skin, which is what my pediatrician was telling me, which I couldn't believe. But there are about 100,000 chemicals on the market today. And the Toxic Substance Control Act of 1976, it allowed them to grandfather those in. And that means that they can still be considered safe. Dr. Samuel Epstein, he's the chairman of the Cancer Prevention Coalition. And he says it is unthinkable that women would knowingly inflict such exposures on their infants and children and themselves if products were routinely labeled with explicit warnings for cancer risks, but they're not labeled. Since the 1940s, we know prostate cancer has risen 200%. Thyroid cancer has risen 155%. Brain cancer is up 70%. I mean, they're just all rising. And then we have what's going on today on top of that. What happens when the body is chemically overloaded? You see it, in all these diseases and chronic diseases and things that are going on. And we find ourselves not having energy. We find ourselves not being able to focus well. We can't sleep well. There's chronic inflammation, unexplained pain. We find ourselves with these skin issues, hot flashes, stress, all of this kind of thing. And we're like, what's going on? Okay. But we can take control of that. We can actually kick the chemicals to the curb. You can control what's allowed in your home. You can control what you're putting on your body. And that's what we're talking about. I got invited to my first introduction to oils. And that's when I began to learn just the difference between the pure plant oils that God intended for us to use and all the chemicals that we were using in our home and with our children. And I was using, thinking I was doing a good thing. But these are things that we can control. These are things that are important for our self-care, for our sleep, for our nutrition, for us to have mental and emotional health. We can control these things. We can move more. We don't have nature the way that I believe that God intended. Most of us, don't live in areas where we can really benefit from nature. We don't have that fresh food all the time. We don't have the clean air, but we do have the power of these particular essential oils. And for me, that's kind of the next best thing. And I just ask you, what action can you take of the things that you've learned of self-care, where you're at, what's going on in your life? What's something that you can do today, something that you can take away today?
Hello.
Hi there.
Hey, Zella, I guess I was on mute. I'm just listening to the things that you're telling us that are dangerous, and the candles, and I love burning candles, and then the room sprays. I love good smells throughout my home, and so I buy these pumpkin spice sprays and all this stuff and these plug-ins from Bath and Body. They're marvelous, but now that I'm hearing this, we're inhaling all of these scents and fragrances and don't know what all we're inhaling. And so that's something that I can look at shifting from delighting in those Bath and Body goods and using the more natural products. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Nozella, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay. I had the Febreze. I have those plug-ins, which I haven't used in a long time. And I put one in, and I was coughing and sneezing. My eyes were burning. I had to unplug it because it was so strong. and I haven't used it since. That's been, you know, it was some time ago. But those plugins, like you say, they are, yeah, because I've been using my diffuser all the time, and when I
Mhm.
put that in, it was just, you know, it was, you know, coughing and sneezing, and it was just,
Mhm.
you know, the fragrance, well, you couldn't even smell the fragrance because I couldn't enjoy it
Yeah.
because it was just really too strong.
Yeah.
And also, the other day, I bought some deodorant and it's talking about the aluminum in that. I said, oh my gosh. And I, you know, we got my book. I said, I know we have it in the in the catalog. So I will be ordering that too. So yeah, so that's some of this.
Yeah. Oh, you know, we didn't know. And I like to say, what you don't know could hurt you.
Right.
Hi, I have someone that raised their hand and it says Wolfoka. Welcome. And introduce yourself, please.
Well, hi, I'm Annie Wolfhog, and what I've taken away from this, just listening to you talk about your self-care, and it is your self-care, our individual self-care, taking care of oneself. I was introduced to the products, oh, I don't know how long ago. Patricia Brown actually introduced me to it, and at that time, like all the things you were saying, oh, exercise, all these things you were saying. I'm always over here playing devil's advocate, say, how in the world I'm gonna do all of these things when I'm so depressed? At least that's the way it used to be.
Yeah.
Some of the products, oh my goodness, the Joy had us all in here laughing, and the emotional oils. Well, I've used. I mean, when I first started, I thought I had OD'd on some stuff because I was feeling so good. And I called Pat and I said, girl, I can feel my blood rolling through my veins. But the emotional oils, you have to get to some point. What I've learned is that the body is malnourished due to all of these toxins and chemicals that's in everything we do, you know, everything we use, our foods, everything. So, you know, having a product or some products that can at least get you to the point where you can have some clarity and some calmness in your mind to make some decisions to do better and care for yourself more, you know, better. That's what I found. The peace and calmness, love it. I used to dab the girls with it, the teenage girls when they thought they were going to sneak out on Friday night. And I was the girls, let me put a little good smell on you. And I'd leave them alone and come back 2 hours later, they're all asleep. But it just really calms the body, the joy. And one of my favorite, I don't think you mentioned it tonight, but that freedom. I thought I was going to kill myself after I put on freedom. I had all this, I could focus enough to know that I needed to do things. And then I was like, well, I need to do this, I need to do that. Oh yeah, I got to do this too. And oh yeah, I'm going to do that too. And guess what? I did them all. And I called Pat up and I said, Pat, I think you have tried to kill me.
Yes.
But yes, everything, I mean, all the products, the key here is that with Young Living, there are zero toxins in the products. There are no side effects other than feeling better. I mean, that is the side effect, feeling better, living better. That's what I've taken from the product and company that, you know, once I take it now, I must admit, once I feel like I'm on top of the world, you know, I say, hey, I did that. It wasn't any oils. And, you know, I might go a week or so and I call Pat and she's like, have you taken your sulfazines? Have you take it? And I was like, you know what? I haven't. But definitely self-care is so important. Now, I mean, I don't like the smell of the deodorant.
Yeah, well, and you know, what's so exciting is that the body adapts and the body
Yeah.
knows what you need. So
Right.
one blend someone else may really love. What's
Mhm.
interesting about joy is I love joy, but I know people that joy makes them very sad. There's some emotional things going on with them. And so, um, you know, they have to really work up to using that because they're working through some emotional things as well. So thank you so much for sharing. I got a couple people that have their hands up as well. I can't see everyone the way that I'd like to. I think Prophet has her hand up, and let's see who else has their hand up that I'm missing. Prophet, you want to go ahead?
Yes, I was really inspired by your whole presentation, and then which I was going to comment on, but I was really inspired by the last person. Inspired because what I realized, we're in this pandemic, and there's a lot of things people need for health and nutrition, and to build the immune system. But I was inspired, just had a flash to really also not wait to share the feeling oils, emotional oils, because just what she said, if sometimes people need a place where they can just get in a better mental and emotional state. So I'm going to use that. I also want to share that I recently ordered some tea away, which is an animal oil. I never would have looked at the animal, had not anyway, looked at the animal oils. And I got this tea away thinking that it would have some properties that I could use, and it's got a lot of stuff in it. But I got it, and I thought, when I opened it, I thought, oh my God, what a big mistake. I hated that smell. It was horrible. And I let it sit on my table next to my computer. And one day while I was working, without even thinking about it, I picked it up and put it on my palms and the back of my hand and my back and my ankles. And I started thinking, what are you doing? You do not like this oil. And I just did it. And then next thing I know, I was taking it to my bedroom, and then it was sitting on my dresser next to the bed. And then I couldn't keep my hands off of it. So every place I go, it's my constant companion. It's called Tea Away. And I think the T stands for trauma away, but it's just like something about it. And you just really don't know, it's, you mentioned a joy, which I really love, but this Tea Away, it is an animal product, animal sense product. It's, very affordable. It's one of those things, but it is packed full of oils. So it's just likely to do something. It's done something for me. So I keep it. It would be my thing to get for, and like I said, very affordable for my particular budget. It is wonderful. So I want to share that. I thought I hated it, thought I was going to just sit it somewhere and forget about it, but it has followed me around the house.
Yeah, it's interesting that does happen with many of the oils. Again, remembering that we're not talking about fragrances, we're not talking about synthetics, we're talking about what comes from that plant, sourced in ways that we don't normally get from other oils. And that's why I keep going back to them, because I see how they're farmed, and that's reflected in the cost. When you see the frankincense has been tapped from the tree, then you know why it costs what it costs. Tapped in almond, they do it there. Just real quick, I want you to know, those of you that have been with us for a while, those of you that are new to us, Young Living has really made it really simple to order now. And so it's very, very, very easy. You just click on youngliving.com. You can get to it from my newsletter. You can shop, you can add what you want. People can go in and just create an account. First, they don't have to even buy anything, just create that account. And that's really exciting because we've got something really, really exciting coming up that you are just going to love between now and June. And so I also want you to remember that we do have, if you want to get the best deals, you can unlock the 24% discount in two ways. If you order 100 PV, you automatically unlock it. That means you get that discount the whole year. Or you can order an item on Subscribe and Save, and you also unlock the 24% discount. It's so amazing how you can get loyalty points. There's a way for you to order where you're going to get 10% back when you just start ordering. If you order 50 PV, you automatically after 3 months are going to get 20% back. If you do it consecutively for 24 months, you get 25% back, and that's on top of the 24% discount. It's just kind of amazing. And so I just want you to know that, because we also have a really special thing that's coming up. But I did want to take a moment to just give you the to let you know you're not required to sell anything in order to be able to get to be a customer with Young Living. But if you decide that you want to be sharing these things, this wellness lifestyle with others, and you want to earn a little paycheck, you can do that. So I do want to, make sure that you know about that opportunity. All you have to do, the only investment to do that is to buy that business essential kit, which is $29.95. And you can do it on your first order, or you can do it down the line when you decide, hey, I'm sharing this with people, I might as well get a little income off of this anyway. You can do it that way. So I just want to make sure that you do that. If you want more information about the business opportunity, which is many of us, this is how we pay for our products. We share with others and it pays for our products. So if you're interested in that, do talk to me about that. I want to just really thank you. You can just screenshot my QR code if you're interested. You saw something that you wanted to order, or talk to the person that invited you to be on the call tonight and get their number, because as I said, it's just 3 easy steps for you to be able to order, and they will ask you for an enroller number. And so whoever invited you, you want to make sure that you give them that number. But you can screenshot or take a picture of the QR code if you'd like to do that as well. I did want to say, Anna put in here, I got it for my dog to oh, okay. I think she was talking about that tea blend, and now she's gone, and I will use it on myself. So she's glad. Thank you, Prophet, for sharing that with
It was tea away. I'm sorry.
the tea away. Yes, thank you so much. I'm going to be looking that up myself, for sharing that as well. We have some super exciting news to tell you, and I'm going to stop share, and I'm going to try to see if I can stop the recording as well.